let's go. Welcome back into the Skooshi Sports Podcast and your Global Sports Roundup for, middle of December now. Global Sports Roundup, bringing you your latest sporting news from around the world in the last week or so. I get it, it's silly season, but there's still plenty of sport happening around the world as we speak. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. So obviously we're going to go through our Women's Player of the Week like per usual. Going to chat about a bit of cricket because it is the summertime now. Going through the darts as well with the World Darts Championships just starting last Friday. And then obviously finish off with our American sports, going through the NFL, NBA, and NHL as well. Before we get started into it, remember, if you like the video, make sure you like the content, make sure you give the video a massive like, follow the podcast as well, subscribe to the channel as well. 50 subscribers, how bloody good. Literally so grateful for that sort of thing. Yeah, it made me so happy seeing that this morning. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Literally just the beginning. I'm so excited for what next year has to bring. Remember to follow all my socials, all at Skooshi Sports as well. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, SKOOSHI Sports, all one word for you there. All right, without further ado, let's get started with our Women's Player of the Week for the Skooshi Sports Podcast. If you are new here, welcome in. I do, in my Global Sports Roundup, or every week, I do a Women's Player of the Week, giving you my best athlete performance by a women's athlete for that week. Really want to give them the shining light because I just want to try and bring that more into the sporting world. But my Women's Player of the Week, I believe this is the second soccer player now we've had for the podcast for a Women's Player of the Week. So Women's Player of the Week this week is Khadija Shaw from Man City. As I said, in women's soccer, holy dooly did she have a performance here. They played Aston Villa in the Women's Super League, essentially like the English Premier League, but for women's. They beat Aston Villa 6-1. She's a striker. She scored 4 freaking goals. Holy dooly, 4 goals. Not just a hat-trick, but add another one over that. Literally a double hat-trick in cricket, a baker's dozen hat-trick in football. Holy dooly. Scored 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half. Literally those 2 in the second half, like the 84th and like an injury time as well. Incredible. One of the best strikers in the world going around in female soccer at the moment. 100th goal as well for Man City. Literally the first female ever for Man City to do that, which is incredible. She had 99 going to this game. Now she's gone from 99 to 103. Outstanding. 74 of those are in the Women's Super League, but it's outstanding performance. 4 goals in the game. Just insane. First 4-goal game in the Women's Super League since 2019 as well. So, broken a bit of a drought there. Massive congratulations to Khadija Shaw, Man City striker from Jamaica as well. Outstanding performance. 4 goals against Aston Villa, winning 6-1. All right, let's get into a bit of cricket. Hey, oh no. And we've got if you're listening to this, today when I release it, the third Ashes test is pretty much just starting, right? So I think, was it 10 a.m. local time in Adelaide, the third Ashes test starts. Aussie had made a couple changes, not dropping anyone that's performed bad. Brendan Doggett and Michael Neser are out. And you got Paddy Cummins returning, and you got Nathan Lyon back into the squad for this one here. Bit of a shock one. He got dropped for the Gabba one, but now a spin-friendly pitch in Adelaide. Get Nathan Lyon back in the team, and now you've got your captain, Paddy Cummins, getting his first test in the Ashes. I just don't know how England are going to stop them. Now they've got their full bowling attack back. The batting attack lineup is elite. I just don't understand how you're going to stop it. Obviously, Usman Khawaja is not there for the third test. He's actually fit, but he's not been picked. So you could say he's been dropped essentially from that first test. I kind of agree with it. I guess, I get it, he's fit, but he's probably a little bit past now. Get some young blood in there. The Aussies are 2-0 up. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And he didn't really bat in the first test either. So can't really complain with that sort of change there. how does this not go 3-0 up? I just don't see how England, what they can do. They've made one change for this test. They brought in Josh Tongue, a fast bowler, for Atkinson, who's been pretty poor. Does one bowler really change the whole perspective of how this test match is going to go and how the rest of the series can go? Australia win this test, they win the series. So crunch time for England, big time. But as I said, when you're listening to this, it is starting today, keen as it's been. Starting on a Wednesday, but obviously we have the Boxing Day test, was it next Friday? So go, have a bit of a break in between, but it's going to be so good. Cannot wait to watch that tomorrow. We've got the third test between New Zealand and the West Indies. That starts on Thursday. That is they're only playing 3 tests, not a 5-test series. It was 1-0 to the Black Caps at the moment in that one there. So worst they can do is a 1-1. Won the second test and drew the first one. All right. Big Bash has started. How bloody good. I absolutely love the Big Bash. It's just so good to have, especially at this time of the year, something to actually watch on TV. Along with that, such good entertainment. I've got Supercoach in it these days. I am doing Supercoach. I went quite well last year. I think I finished like top 1,000, I believe. I was doing a little bit better during the season and faltered a little bit, but so good at this time of year when you watch your darts in the morning, then you watch your cricket during the day, and then you watch more cricket at night time, and it's just like overload more of sport. So especially in the off season with footy, that sort of thing, it's so good to have something like the cricket to go home and watch after a day of work, something like that. But I am a Brizzy Heat fan. We've obviously won the comp a couple times now, and holy dooly, we played last night and we played the Renegades and we got absolutely smashed around. We put up a valiant chase, but it was just too many runs to chase. They beat us by 14 runs in the end, but I thought the Renegades put up 213 or something absurd. Tim Seifert 102 off 56. Shout out to the Kiwis. Ollie Peake 57 off 29 on debut. Just smashing it around, and mainly off Shahid Afridi, who's one of our marquee signings for the Heat. Debut game in the Big Bash, Pakistani fast bowler, keen as 0 for 43 off 2.4. Probably wondering, 2.4, what happened? He literally had bowled 3 no balls in his third over, and then he got booted off, couldn't bowl again. An absolute nightmare debut performance by Shahid Afridi. Comes into bat, gets a duck. I mean, what are we doing here, man? Like what? What is that kind of performance? Absolute crap performance by our marquee sign Afridi. Come on, you can't be dishing that up in your debut game. A shining light for the Heat. Jimmy Pearson bashed 50 off 22 balls as well, which was really good signs. But as I said, it was just too little too late at that point. Colin Munro had a good smack around as well. The Scorchers had the opening game. They beat the Sixers by 5 wickets in a shortened game. That was an 11-over game. And as I record right now, we also have a game going on at the moment between the Thunder and the Hurricanes. The Thunder are batting. They are 3 for 77. Sammy Constas just got out for 28 off 25. He still gets Bancroft there, 25 of 20. Matty Gilks had a good bash round, 20 off 7 there at the moment. But I have absolutely overloaded my Supercoach team with so many Hurricanes players. They've got the double game to start off the season, and I've absolutely got way too many in the start season. But we'll see how it goes. All right, it's a long season. We'll see how it goes. But love the Big Bash, and the fact that it's just started a couple of days ago. Was it finish up in sort of the end of January? So good. Just before footy season is about to start. All right, moving on to the darts. And if you have been living under a rock, the World Darts Championship started on Friday morning here on Australia. The Friday gone. Literally, like, one of the best times of the year, right? The best darts players in the world, 128 of them, get into London. The Alexandra Palace. The atmosphere is crazy, bonkers. You play knockout format, none of this round robin shit where you get extra chances and stuff. If you lose in round 1, you pack your bags and go home. It is just the pinnacle of darts, and it's just so good to watch every single morning. I think the first match in like where I am in Queensland starts at like 10:30 at night. You have like an afternoon session, and then you have a night session. In round one, you've got 5 games in each session. Literally, you got to think 64 matches in round one. It takes bloody ages to get through round one. They don't have like 2 darts or like, tennis is like multiple courts. It's just one dart board, one game at a time. So it literally takes like 8, 9, 10 days to like complete the first round. It takes a bloody long time. Like guy like Luke Littler, the defending champ, always plays opening night. And he doesn't play until he played Friday morning. He doesn't play till like next Monday morning or something. So 10-day break for him, which is crazy from round 1 to round 2. But obviously, once you start to go from 128, 64, 32, 16, blah, 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 obviously the matches start to get, the days break start to get a little bit tighter. But your general favorites have obviously gone romping through. Luke Littler, they do a set format, so they do first to 3 legs wins a set. Round 1 is first to 3 sets wins the game. So Luke Littler 1 sets 3-0, absolute romp through. He honestly didn't even look that good and average over 100, which is absurd. Luke Humphries won 3-1 against Ted Everts, and he was on fire. He was cooking. Then he just slipped a bit, but still got up. We have seen a couple upsets though, which is really cool to see, right? 71-year-old Paul Lim from Singapore. I think it's his 26th World Championship or some shit like that. Upsets Jeffrey DeGraff 3-1. Absolute scenes. A 71-year-old advancing to round 2 of the World Darts Championship. The crowd was absolutely loving it as well. So good. This is what darts is all about. Upsets, getting behind the underdog. He was a huge underdog in that game and he got the win. Another upset, Nitin Kumar from India, one of the bros, beat Richard Veenstra 3-2 in sets. He was a $9 underdog in that one there. $9 to win. Richard Veenstra was like, what, $1.08 or something to win? Nitin Kumar wins 3-2, advances to round 2. He is an absolute baller. You absolutely love to see it. In terms of Kiwis and Aussies, you had Johnny Tata. He was a big dog as well, 340. He won 3-zip to get through to round 2. You had guys like Damon Heta. He's like the number 1 Aussie. He romped through in round 1, which is cool. I watched Simon Whitlock this morning, the Wizard. I watched him a few weeks ago at the ANZ Premier League in the final, win that one. It was so good to see him live. He was 2-0 down in sets this morning, and he was down and out. See you later. Against, what was it, Connor Scott, I believe it was, a young fella. And he brought it back to 2-2, and then he was leading in the fifth set, and he just kind of blew at the end, which is a shame. So he didn't make it through Whitlock to the second round, but still got a couple Aussies, and I believe 1 Kiwi there as well, going through to round 2. So I'll keep you obviously update in regards to the darts, but still plenty of action, right? This is trending at the moment. I've literally never seen it. It's one of the biggest spits I've ever seen in darts, like ever, right? Cam Menzies lose against this kid on debut, Mamby. I think he's like 2021 or something. And when you win, like there's like little like sparklers that go off and there's music going off. And Cam Menzies loses. The sparklers go off. He literally puts his hand over a sparkler, like over the base to try and like diffuse it. Hands bleeding, and then he gets to the table where like have your water, you put your darts on, that sort of thing. He just goes bang, 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 completely bashes it under it in rage. Hand is completely bleeding, like just furiously. One of the biggest spits. Can't even shake hands with his opponent. It's just like, what the actual fuck is going on, man? Like, some sort of ban is going to happen there. I don't know what's going to happen. Some sort of disciplinary. That is just not needed in the sport, but he is now completely trending. He came out after and said he's had like a family member pass away, but like he even said it's still no excuse for what he did. And it's just like, what the hell? He is absolutely trending for what he did. Hand over literally the sparklers. Must have been burning his hand, and then it bashes the table 3 times in anger. And I said he walked off, like hand is just so red, blood everywhere. Crazy scenes. But yeah, that's darts, baby. That is darts. And one of the really cool stories, right, is the best female darts player in the world, Bo Greaves. She doesn't play till Saturday morning, but she plays Daryl Gurney, Super Chin. She's actually a pretty good chance of winning that, so it'd be super cool to see a female darts player in round 2. Still got Fallon Sherrick to play her match there as well. I forget who she's playing though, which is my bad there. But it'd be cool to see Bo Greaves make it through to round 2. All right. That is your darts updates there. So, moving on to some American sports. Let's chat some NFL, baby, because week 15 was absolute chaos. We have now got 3 weeks left of the regular season. So, playoff spots are being, sought after and maybe locked in for some. None of the division spots, like division wins, are locked in with 3 games to go, which is pretty cool, right? Like, generally you have, like, back in the day, the Patriots clinch it, Chiefs of the modern day. Speaking of the Chiefs, they are Dunskies for the year. They cannot make the playoffs. What are they, 6-8 for the year? It's just like, what in the hell has happened? And just to make things worse, Patrick Mahomes at the end of that game, going for a game-winning drive against the Chargers, tears his ACL. Like, he's never torn anything, like had a big injury like this. He's probably in doubt now for the first couple weeks of the next NFL season now. He's already had surgery. So Gardner Minshew Mania, baby. Minshew Magic will be our quarterback for the Chiefs in the last 3 weeks. I think they have the Titans, and I think they've got the Raiders. I'm not sure who else they've got. But crazy things. The fact that the Chiefs have won the AFC West, 9 years in a row. 3 Super Bowls in there. Will not be making the playoffs. What is it? They hosted 5 AFC Championship games out of 6 AFC Championship games in a row. They're not even making the playoffs now, which is crazy. Chargers and the Broncos are ahead of them in that division. You got the Bills there. You got the Jaguars there. They are no longer. You've also got the Texans. Crazy scenes. As I said, just to make things worse, Mahomes tears his ACL. But we'll kick off at the start of week 15, and we had the Buccaneers absolute choke a lead to the Falcons, who now the Buccaneers and unfortunately the Panthers did lose, but now Buccaneers and the Panthers are both 7-7. What is it? 7-7? Yeah, 7-7 in the division. They now have played each other twice in the last 3 weeks. Whatever team still just sweeps will make it through. If the Panthers beat the Bucs twice, they will make it through. If the Bucs beat the Panthers twice, they make it through. Bucs play Miami in week 17. Panthers play the Seahawks in week 17. So Bucs definitely have the advantage there. The first game is in Carolina this coming weekend. I am absolutely pumped for that one there. Eagles finally had a blowout win, beating the Raiders, shutting out the Raiders 31-0. They are most likely now good 99% chance that they'll win the NFC East. First time in about 20 years that a team had a repeat winner in the NFC East, which is pretty crazy to think about when you've got like the Giants, Commanders, Dallas in there as well, have not had a repeat winner since literally 2005 or 2006. Ravens had a shutout win against Cincinnati as well, 24-0. They moved to 7-7. Steelers had a win to go 8-6 today. So Steelers still do have that advantage in the AFC North, and obviously have the tiebreaker over the Ravens at the moment. And Ravens, 3 games to go. They've got the Patriots this weekend at home. Then they go to Green Bay, and then they've got to go to Pittsburgh in week 18. Pretty darn tough draw for the Ravens coming up. I know Pittsburgh have got Detroit this week. That's a tough game. Looking like the Steelers are going to win the AFC North, which is something I didn't think would happen at the start of the year. The Bears had a whopping victory against the Browns, 31-3. Bit of a stranglehold now in the NFC North after the Packers lose to Denver as well. Speaking of the Packers, as I said, they lost to Denver 34-26. The big news is Micah Parsons is done for the season. Tears his ACL. One of the biggest trades in the NFL offseason that happened in NFL history. Parsons getting traded from Dallas to Green Bay. That pretty much kills their Super Bowl hopes, I reckon. Like, he's such a key part of the defense. I just don't think that defense will be good enough to maybe even get past the wild card round. I think they'll just make the playoffs, but definitely in jeopardy now of losing that first wild card game. Where are we? Jags had a blowout win against the Jets, 48-20. They're absolute rolling now, the Jags at the moment. Looking good for the AFC South now. Trevor Lawrence was absolute cooking at that game. And then the other AFC South team, the Houston Texans, also beat the Cardinals in a blowout win, 40-20. Does look like those two teams in the AFC South will be making the playoffs. I'd say the Jags will probably be winning the AFC South at this rate. They do have they have split the games with the Texans this year. But the other one is the Colts. Holy dooly, man. You got to give them credit. They're not going to make the playoffs now after starting the season 7-1. They are now 8-6. But Phillip Rivers, if you haven't heard of Phillip Rivers, it's because his last game before this weekend played in 2020. Played many years with the Chargers. Then he went to the Colts. Retired in 2020, comes back out of retirement as a 44-year-old. First game, literally comes back in to play Seattle, a brutal defense, and throws for more touchdowns than what Sam Darnold did. Seattle kicked 6 field goals against the Colts to win 18-16 in Seattle, which is just crazy seeing. Seattle now have very similar, I think they're 1 win behind the Rams now, and now they play each other on Thursday Night Football. Seahawks and the Rams in Seattle as well. Seattle will be looking to split that series this year and go to the same record as the Rams. Potentially one of those two teams are looking at the number 1 seed in there. And yeah, NFC West as well. The 49ers also had a front door cover against the Titans. They're now 10-4, looking like they could literally be number 1 seed as well. But they're looking like they'll make the playoffs as well. As I said, speaking of my Panthers before, they did lose, had a massive opportunity to lead the division outright in the NFC South because the Bucks lost. Then we choked away a lead, winning. We're up 17-7, I think, or 17-10. And then Saints score a touchdown, make it 17-all, and then we lose a game-winning field goal. You absolutely hate to see it. But yeah, chaos in the NFL, man. I'm super keen for these last 3 weeks. Anything can happen. I think the playoff spots for a lot of teams, and especially in the wildcard, kind of locked up. I don't think there's a massive playoff race. It's just more who's going to win these divisions and get home field advantage, who's going to get the number 1 seed coming in the NFC and AFC and get that week off, which is obviously super important. The championship will run through that team essentially in the divisional and most likely in championship day as well. But plenty, as said, happening in the NFL at the moment. Got my Red Zone report every single week, still going. Very, very strong. We're coming into the back end of the year, especially player prop wise. So if you haven't seen the Red Zone report, make sure you go check it out. Comes out every single Thursday morning for you on my channel, Spotify, podcast, anywhere you get your podcast. But let's chat a little bit about NBA. So your team of the week, how can you go past the San Antonio Spurs, going 3-0 in the last week, but 2 games of those were without their star, Victor Wembanyama. Then he comes back for the semifinal against OKC in the NBA Cup. OKC laying double digits, and Spurs get the upset, 111-109. Wemby having a huge difference on this team. Didn't play his max minutes, but when he was on the court, they absolutely dominate OKC. OKC suffering their 2nd defeat of the season. Can you believe it? They are now 24-2. Brutal. Lost their 15-game winning streak, losing by 2 against Spurs. Spurs and the Knicks now play each other in the NBA Cup final. Knicks had a pretty good win against the Magic in the other semi there. Your worst team of the week got to be Sacramento. Went 0-3. They're looking pretty bloody bleak at the moment. Sitting 3rd last in the conference. Honestly, very similar record. Same record as the Clippers. Nearly the same record as the bloody Pelicans, man. They are looking dog shit awful, and you do hate to see it. But the Eastern Conference is super tight at the moment, right? There's literally like 1, maybe 2 wins separating separating Boston, who's 4th at 15-11. Then you got Miami at 14-12, who are coming 9th. So the East is so tight there at the moment. There's pretty much a clear-cut top 9 teams, and Milwaukee's just hanging at the back of it. Speaking of Milwaukee, Giannis is still injured. I think Giannis is going to get traded to the New York Knicks in the later in the next couple months. I think the trade deadline is early February. Giannis is going to get traded. Like, he's just going to get traded. And I think he wants to go to a team that's going to, like, feel like they're going to be winning. I don't think he's going to go to Detroit or, like, Boston, that sort of thing, or, like, Spurs. I think he's going to go to New York, like a team that's really popular. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to be in a big team as well. Not going to be the Lakers, but I think it will be the Knicks. Speaking of Detroit, they just mentioned before, they had a good win on the road against Boston today. They now still have a big stranglehold in the Eastern Conference, winning that one by 2.5 games. They've won 4 games in a row. They are looking bloody good at the moment, but you still can't go past OKC. They're 24-2, as I said. They're honestly on track to have the best record ever in an NBA season, which is held by Golden State, which was 73-9 or 74-8 off the top of the dome. And I think the best, honestly, 2 teams are in the West. You got OKC, and then you got Denver, who had an overtime win against the Rockets today. You got San Antonio there with Wembanyama back. You still got the Lakers there with Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. Still got Houston there. I think there's a clear-cut top 5 teams in the West there for sure. Minnesota just sort of hanging out the back there. And then in the East, I said you've got Detroit, you've got the Knicks, you've got the Raptors there, they're holding solid. You've still got the Celtics, who've got Tatum to come back. I think it's going to happen sooner than you think, potentially. He's looking good from the videos I've seen. The Magic are hanging there. I think there's good top 4 teams. Then you got the Magic, the Sixers. The Cavs, man, should be going way better than they should. 4-6 in their last 10, but just really, as I said, struggling at the moment. All right. Moving on to a bit of ice hockey, baby. One of my favorite sports going around. So good to follow. Atmosphere is crazy. End-to-end stuff. Fights. You got actual, literal, physical fights that happen in the sport as well. So good. Go to the Eastern Conference, and you still got, last week we had the Red Wings at the top of the Atlantic. Now you've got the Lightning there. The Lightning have had 4 losses in a row since, or like 3 or 4 losses since we've last chatted. They've won a couple games since. They absolutely blew out the Devils. I think it was like 8-4, and then they lose to the Islanders the game after. Very hard team to pick, and then they got blown out by Florida today, 5-2. Very hard team to pick at the moment, but the Avalanche are still looking pretty darn good. They had 1 loss in the last week. They did lose to the Predators in overtime, in a shootout as well. Since then, they've come back and had 2 pretty good wins. They smacked Florida, I think 6-2. And then they beat the Predators. Like, they played them again, and I think they beat them 4-2. Still well on top of the league, right? Like, well on top. They've got, 2-game lead at the top. Them and Dallas are absolutely destroying the league at the moment. They're on... Avs are on 53 points. Dallas is on 49, they had a good win against the Kings today. And then you got the Canes at 44. Like, it's just the top 2, and then it's just the rest. Like, it's just crazy. One of the news stories of the week, Quinn Hughes, the brother of star player Jack and Luke Hughes. Jack and Luke Hughes are in the Devils at the moment, and Quinn Hughes was on the Canucks. And I knew he was unhappy at the Canucks, right? One of the best players in the league, and I just thought he would want to go play with his brothers and get traded to the Devils. Didn't happen. He got traded, but to the Minnesota Wild. Holy dooly, did the Minnesota Wild absolutely give them the bag for this player. Like, I think a couple first rounders, another round pick in there, and a player as well. Like, the Canucks, they may as well tank. They're sitting dead last in the league at the moment on 27 points. They are literally over a game behind second last, which is pretty sad to see. They did win that last game, but they're 3-6-1 in their last 10 games, which you do hate to see. But not too much really to report. Actually, the Pittsburgh Penguins have lost 5 in a row. 4 of those games have been in overtime. They are now on the slide down. And they are chokers, man. I remember 2 of those games. They were up 3-2 against the Ducks. Had a power play in the last 2 minutes. Ducks had an empty net, and the Ducks score with 0.2 seconds left to tie it up 3-3 and then lose in a shootout. And then they go play San Jose on Sunday. They were up 5-1. 5-1 with 12 minutes to go in the game. dominating. 42 shots to 15 or something. Sharks score 4 goals to tie it up 5-all. 2 empty net goals. Like, it's just like, what the hell is going on? Then they lose in overtime to, like, Sharks win 6-5. Like, the comebacks like happen maybe like once a season, it feels like. 4 goals down with 12 minutes to go, and they come back and get to 5-all and then win in overtime. Crazy, literally most fucking crazy scenes you've ever seen. But as I said, that's a really good trade. Going back to Quinn Hughes, really good trade by the Wild. I know he scored his debut game. They are cooking at the moment. Won their last 4 on the trot. 7-2-1 in the last 10. Sitting third, outright third, clear-cut third in the Central at the moment. The top 3 teams in the Central actually being the top team in the Pacific, which is just wild to think about. They're also beating, like, top in the Atlantic as well. I mean, the Central Division is just dominating the league at the moment. Looking at Pacific, you still got Vegas, you still got Anaheim up there, baby. I reckon they're going to make the playoffs. It's just really exciting. You've obviously still got a team like the Oilers there, who are just starting to get on a bit of a roll now. 6-3-1 the last 10. Had a really good win against Toronto on the weekend. Connor McDavid's just starting to sort of get into his tune now. They're sitting in sort of mid-range of the table. So are Florida, who have had a couple really good wins. They shut out the Dallas Stars. I think it was 4-0. Then they beat their big rival Tampa Bay today 5-2. The Olympic break is coming up very shortly. Like, the Winter Olympics is in January, I believe. So they have like a good sort of 2-3 week break. After that, they should have Matthew Tkachuk back, one of their star players, and near the end of the regular season, they should have their captain, Alexander Barkov, back as well. So the Florida Panthers are not projected like in the playoff race at the moment, but I think they'll get there. And then, as I said, the Eastern Conference is so tight at the moment, like so tight. They're sitting 5th in the division at the moment, and they're 3 points off Tampa Bay, who is top. So in a matter of like a few games, they could be literally leading that division, which is crazy to think about. They still have ridiculous odds to go and win the whole thing. They're 2 back-to-back champs. They're still $11 to go and win it. The Oilers are $11 to go back to the Stanley Cup and win it. And they're, as I said, they're sitting like mid-range of the table, like not playing their best hockey, but they're there amongst it. So very interesting to see what happens. 30 games into the season, so over a third of the way through the season. They play 82 games in the season. It feels like the cream of the crop is starting to rise, and the team that's kind of started hot that we thought we wouldn't, like the Bruins. The Bruins are hanging around, but like the Bruins, you got teams like the Sharks started hot. The Penguins, they're just starting to falter. The Leafs are still shit. The Rangers. The Rangers can click anytime they feel like, but I can't really see them making the playoffs. The Jackets have been really disappointing as well, but obviously, we'll keep you guys updated every single week in regards to what happens with the hockey. But that will do it for this week's episode of the Skooshi Sports Report, my global sports report. I said, bringing you my Women's Player of the Week. Shout out to Khadija Shaw from Man City, scoring 4 goals. 4 goals against Aston Villa, winning 6-1. Going through the cricket, it's got the Ashes, Big Bashes here, your World Darts Championship, and then your 3 American sports, the NFL, 3 weeks to go in the regular season before playoffs, and then the NBA and NHL in full swing at the moment. But yeah, that will do it, guys. As I said, if you like the content, remember to give it a massive like. Share it to all your friends. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's try and next goal is 100 subscribers, which would be super cool. Remember to follow all my socials at Skooshi Sports, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the above. You get daily reels, all your posts. It's all there for you. But thank you so much for watching and listening, and cheers.